Hello students, what did I teach yesterday? Characteristics of plants, plant kingdom, according to R.H. Whittaker's criterion. First. Secondly, classification of plant kingdom. I mentioned about artificial system, natural system, and also phylogenetic system. I hope you have prepared notes. Just go back to notes and recall those points. Three classification systems of plant kingdom. And then I have mentioned about just brief account of algae, habitat of algae, cell wall material in algae, commercial importance of algae, asexual reproduction in algae, spores, zoospores, then types of gametes. I said very important for me, types of gametes, examples of algae. Now in this class, we shall understand characteristics of green algae, brown algae, red algae with examples. Green algae, these are the three classes in algae, okay, are called Chlorophyceae, this is green algae. Then Phaeophyceae, this one is brown algae. Then third one is Rhodophyceae, which is this is actually red algae. What are we supposed to study here? Once again, I am not going to highlight cell structure or body organization or mode of nutrition or mode of reproduction and phylogenetic relationship. There are many things common to all the algae. It means all algae belong to plant kingdom. When you consider R.H. Whittaker's criteria, you can confirm that they are plants. And what are you supposed to highlight? How are the green algae different from brown algae? How are the brown algae different from red algae? So we shall focus that part. Before that, I would like to ask you the habitat of these three divisions. Where do you find green algae? You have seen algal growth in pond water, green colored filamentous thing. It can be filamentous, single celled, normally found in fresh water. Very few are marine. Brown algae are mostly marine, seawater. Very few are in fresh water. And one more thing is given in your textbook, brackish water. Brackish, that means estuary. What is estuary? That's the point where river is mixed with the ocean. Salt content will be higher than river and lower than ocean. That junction of water body is called estuary. That's brackish water. Algae are found in brackish water also. Just by saying brackish water, I can't say it is brown algae because there are few species of green algae in brackish water. There are few species of red algae in brackish water. What is habitat of red algae? They are also aquatic, marine, mostly marine. There are from few freshwater species, brackish water species. Habitat is not distinct characteristic because all are aquatic. That's all right. We'll observe one by one. Cell wall material. Cell wall material in a green algae would be cellulose. Every plant cell has cellulose, then what is the point in saying about cellulose? I'll tell you. Those cells have got some more additional materials. Cellulose plus pectose. This is outer wall, this is inner wall. Whereas here in brown algae, it is made up of cellulose plus algin. Okay, it's a type of hydrocolloid, gelatinous material. It has the ability to hold water. In red algae, cell wall is made up of cellulose and carrageen. What is carrageen? This is polysulfate ester. Sulfated carbohydrate, sulfur is present. This carrageen is found only in red algae, and a few species of red algae have got agar. Agar. That is one of the strongest hydrocolloids. Okay. This type of materials are commercially important. I have mentioned that yesterday. They are used in the preparation of ice cream, they are used in the preparation of culture media, etc. They are hydrocolloids. I don't understand. I speak to Gillidium gracilaria, red algae. Why do you keep agar in your cell wall? Cellulose is enough. Red algae says, if I don't keep agar in my cell wall, I will die because I live in salt water. I may shrink, I may lose water. See, I keep a cell in salt water. Can it survive? No chance. We preserve cells in salt water. Right? Salted solution is a good preservative. Cells shrink. But here cells do not shrink. Algae are comfortable in salt water because they have ability to hold water. They are very smart. They are evolved to survive in salt solution. Marine habitat. That's the significance here in these two because they are mostly marine forms. And very important thing that we observe in algae is photosynthetic pigment. I have to say about that because that will impart a color to the thallus. What type of photosynthetic pigments are present? Remember, all algae have got chloroplast, membrane bound organelle, because they are eukaryotes. Chloroplast. What type of photosynthetic pigments are present inside the chloroplast? Thylakoids have photosynthetic pigments such as chlorophyll. A. This is one type of pigment. I'll give you the structure later in the next class. Chlorophyll A and B, very important. Combination is seen in, I may ask you this question in the evening. A-B combination in, I don't give you simply option green algae. Green algae and diatoms. Diatoms are also eukaryotes, they have chloroplast. Green algae and dinoflagellate. Green algae and euglenoid. Green algae and brown algae. You can eliminate this option, green algae and brown algae, because brown algae have got chlorophyll A but not B, it is C. A and C combination. A and B combination of photosynthetic pigments would be seen in green algae and euglenoids. Diatoms, dinoflagellates, brown algae have got A and C combination. Now what about this red algae? Chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A is present in all plant. Euglena plus cyanobacteria also. Nostoc, Anabina. There is no chloroplast in cyanobacteria because they belong to Monera, but there is chlorophyll A. Now that's responsible for splitting of water and evolution of oxygen during photosynthesis. That's all right. Chlorophyll A and D. So it's easy to remember. A is common to everyone. B, C, D respectively. Green, brown, red. Photosynthetic pigments. Then how will it become brown and how will it become red? In addition to D, it's got red pigment called phycoerythrin. This one has got carotenoids. Carotenoids plus xanthophyll. Brown color is due to fucoxanthin. Okay, all these are the pigments of brown algae, photosynthetic pigments. So by seeing photosynthetic pigments, you will come to know is it green algae, brown algae or red algae. I can take any one of the following species. I confirm the following photosynthetic pigments. I may take sargassum, or that is brown algae, or ectocarpus, fucus, over here Porphyra, most popular red algae having this combination of pigments, or Polysiphonia, and this agar is present in Gracilaria, Gelidium, Gracilaria, Gelidium have got agar. Then examples of Chlorophyll, albumin species having chlorophyll A and B combination. That can be Spirogyra, I said isogametes, or colonial form Volvox. It's got colony. You can also see the photograph of this in your textbook. Or Ulothrix filamentus, an iso, gamete for gamete. You take this example, Ulothrix, or Cara, green algae. Okay. This type of species have following storage materials. Starch is the storage material, just like plants, because green algae resemble plants, other higher plants. But storage material in brown algae would be modified starch, laminarin, and mannitol, sugar alcohol. They are all the complex carbohydrates. In red algae, the storage material is Floridian starch, modified starch. This is highly branched. Structurally, it resembles glycogen of animals. Amylopectin, that's component of starch. It's highly branched. Polymer of glucose only, but branched structure. So many glucose units are attached to each other to form this polymer. That's a storage polysaccharide. Then we are going to observe flagella. You may find flagellated zoospores here, but flagella number can be 2 to 8 apical at the tip. Whereas here, zoospore, I said no sexual spores are like this. Pyriform, lateral, not apical flagella. Here it is apical flagella, lateral flagella, and 2 in number. Here it can be 2 to 3, 4, or 2 to 8. Wait. I thought I am talking about green algae here. This is true with respect to green algae, and this is true with respect to brown algae. Okay, in red algae, no flagella, no zoospores, no flagella. Similarly, if you observe gametes, it may be isogametes. Here, green algae, isogametes or anisogametes or oogames, and that is same in all iso, aniso and oogames. But when I say aniso, the gamete has flagella. Flagella are 2 to 8 apical. 2 to 8 apical here in green algae. In brown algae, flagella are lateral and 2 only. So flagella are present in zoospores. Flagella are present in gametes also. 9+2 arrangement of microtubule. I explained about ultrastructure of flagella in the previous lesson. It's same thing because they are all eukaryotes. But number is variable, position is variable. Dinoflagellates have flagella, but one longitudinal, one transverse. Euglena has flagella, one long and one short. Diatoms don't have any flagella. Yes. So shape of the cell plus type of flagella, number of flagella are also characteristic feature of Chlorophaceae and Phaeophaceae. Here no flagella. Non-motile gametes. Gamete can be isogamete, anisogamete or oogames, but no flagella, no zoospores. So they are completely non-motile. No motile stage in the life cycle of red algae. We also observe other distinct characteristics, such as we can take hundreds of examples of green algae. I have selected only the few important NCERT examples. Yes, fifth one. Special characteristics of green algae. Shape of the chloroplast. Spiral, discoidal, ribbon shaped, etc. That's very unique. Secondly, pyrenoids. Important for meat. In many species of green algae, pyrenoid structures present in chloroplast. Store proteins and starch. Secondly, here in green algae, oil droplets. Food molecules are stored in the form of oil droplets also. Not inside the pyrenoids, outside the pyrenoids. Pyrenoids are inside the chloroplast, especially for storing starch and proteins. Oil droplets are stored inside the plasma. So we cannot find pyrenoids and oil droplets here. They store this type of things in different type of plastids or cytoplasmic organelles. Which one? Laminarine, mannitol. Here it is Floridian starch. Okay. Brown algae have a well differentiated thallus. I can take fucus, laminaria, or a dictyota. In fucus, it will be like this, frond. It's laminaria. In fucus, it will be branch. In laminaria, it is highly branched. I mean, in dictyota, branched thallus. Laminaria, fucus, dictyota. What I am trying to say is, here it is frond, called frond. This is hold fast. It's like a root system, and this is the stipe. Fucus has also got air bladder. We may not find that type of air bladder or differentiated frond, stipe, hold fast in this or this. Brown algae only. Plus cells have got large vacuole here. Big vacuole. Okay. So by observing thallus, we can recognize the brown algae. Then how do we recognize red algae? By observing thallus. Thallus is highly branched. Secondly, in brown algae, post-fertilization changes. After the fertilization, zygote undergoes post-fertilization changes. They are more complicated. I'll tell you about life cycle, alternation of generation in algae later, in the next class. Now, what have you understood today? Classification of algae. What are the three divisions? What are the three classes? Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae. Green algae, brown algae, red algae. Examples. You can take Chlamydomonas, you can take Spirogyra, Ulothrix, Volvox, Cara. Right? Because they have chlorophyll A and B, cellulose and pectose, pyrenoids, oil droplets, flagella, 2 to 8, apical, iso, aniso, oogamous. Asexual reproduction can be fragmentation, that is there in all. That's not the distinct feature. Similarly, how do you prove that Sargassum, Ectocarpus, Fucus, Laminaria, Dictyota belong to brown algae? Yes, cell wall is made up of cellulose, algin. Storage material could be laminarin and mannitol. Photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A and C, not B, C, D. So by seeing photosynthetic pigment, storage material, cell wall material, thallus structure, habitat, mostly marine, flagella, right, lateral. So it's enough, you will come to know brown algae. In theory exam it will be easy. Mention any 5 characteristics of brown algae, give examples. When it comes to competitive exam, comparative study is most important. They don't ask you question from only this. And they ask something, one option from here, one option from here, one option from here, one example from here. And then yours, or another example from somewhere, cyanobacteria. So by seeing plant species, you have to understand, oh, this is brown algae. You can't understand that Porphyra is brown algae, Gracilaria is red algae. Gracilaria is red algae, Porphyra is red algae, Gelidium is red algae, Polysiponia is red algae. And then you won't be able to do any conclusion. You have to become very familiar with these examples. Red algae. How do you identify the following species as red algae? Cell wall material, polysulfate ester, agar, cellulose, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D pigments plus phycoerythrin, red pigment. And then you can say storage material, Floridian starch, flagella are absent, habitat, complex post-fertilization changes, fragmentation, sexual reproduction, iso, aniso, oogamous. Yes. You prepare neatly the table for these 3 classes with examples. NCERT gives few diagrams. such as I think Volvox, few diagrammatic representation of few species of brown algae and red algae, Polycyphonia, etc. Porphyra, Polycyphonia. You can search some other photographs in the internet also. But once you recognize the species as green algae or brown algae, red algae, and try to recall why is it green algae? Cell wall material, storage material, photosynthetic pigments, flagella, then other special features, fronds, gametes, and so then it will be easy to understand, easy to remember. Okay, I'll teach next part, Bryophyta, tomorrow. Bye.